A lot of fun. Guys that have ever flown a drone, a helicopter in this stabilized mode flies a lot like that. Hey, what's up and welcome back to Motion RC. I'm your product specialist, Wesley, and today we are checking out the RotorScale F1. Now, we have already done a flight with this on the channel, but it was more of a 3D flight to show you what it's capable of. Today, we want to take it as more of a perspective of somebody that's new to helicopters and wants to learn. This is a perfect ready-to-fly helicopter that's going to come with everything you need right out of the box to be successful at flying RC helicopters. So without further ado, let's get this box open and see how the helicopter comes out of the box. Hey, so now that we got everything out of the box, let's get down on the table here and check out some of the features you're going to expect out of your ready-to-fly little F1. First off, the controller for the F1 you will notice is a very premium feeling Futaba transmitter. Although this is a ready-to-fly kit, the gimbals and everything in this controller are actually very nice. Most guys that pick this up, I've let them borrow this from me at the field and give it a fly. They notice that the controller actually feels very nice in the hands, like I said, for ready to fly. To turn it on, you just hit that power button. You're going to get your display down here on the bottom that shows your different features, like when the helicopter's in hold versus out of hold mode. You also have, and I guess I should explain these switches as I go. So up here is your hold switch. What this does is it turns the motor off for the helicopter to where you can run your stick up and down without the motor actually turning on. So whenever you fire it up for the first time and plug it in, you want to make sure that that hold icon is on the screen. Over on this side, you have the flight mode settings for the helicopter. There are two positions. It's idle up or standard. So standard is going to be the motor is off when the stick is down, and then it's at 100% when the stick is up. Whereas idle up is going to be where no matter where the stick is, the motor will be running at a constant speed. Now this is for a flybarless control helicopter like this one is. So when it's in idle up mode, all you're using is the pitch of the blades to go up and down instead of using your throttle to go up and down. So we first flight, we want to make sure we're in hold. We're going to have this in non-idle up mode. And then you also have the switch here, which is called 3D or 6G. You want that in 6G on your first flight. That is gyro stabilized. So when you let go of the sticks, the helicopter is going to level itself. Whenever you push forward, it's only going to let you bank to a certain amount. As soon as you let go of the sticks, the helicopter is going to come back to level. Now it does not have GPS, so this is still going to take correction from you to keep the helicopter flying nice and stably. And then over here on this side, you also have high and low rates, which is the amount of bank angle you're going to have from the helicopter as you're flying it. Now let's move down to the helicopter itself. As you can see, it has a very premium rotor head on it right out of the box. This is all aluminum up in the head, aside from a couple of the connecting rods that go from the ball links down. They're just going to pop off if you have an accident. You really don't want those to be metal because then they start bending. We can also go on and pop the lid off of this little guy. Canopy, I should say. Take a look inside. You can see the all-in-one flight controller. Now this can work with DSM. Let me pick this up real quick. This can work with DSM if you plug in a satellite right here. It also supports S-Bus on the flight controller. It uses standard little servos all the way around that are replaceable, and we do carry them here on Motion RC. You can also see it uses a brushless little motor to go into that gear drive. On the tail, we have the small brushless motor right out here. So that's how this is working, is it's got a direct drive brushless motor in the rear. To get your battery installed into the helicopter, it's as easy as just sliding it down into this battery tray on the bottom, and it's friction fit in once you get it all the way up to the nose like that. You can just leave it hanging out to where you can plug in after you get your canopy on. So let's slide our canopy back onto the helicopter real quick. Now, to power the helicopter on, we want to turn our transmitter on. We want to make sure that we're in hold. So right here, you can see the 0-0. If I go throttle up, the 0-0 stays there and doesn't change. That tells me I'm in hold. Whereas if I flip the switch, as I put the throttle up, you can see that the throttle goes up and stays up after I'm after half throttle, and it goes back to 0. That tells me that the idle or the throttle hold is not on. So we want to make sure it's on, 0-0. Now we can plug the helicopter in. So let's reach under here and plug the little guy in. We're going to set it nice and level and flat. I just heard a little tick, and that tells me that it's armed. So now, if we tilted our rotor blades, you can see right here, it goes down whenever I push the stick to the left, which is correct, which would be banking the helicopter to the left. If I tilt it to the right, the whole head will turn to the right, and it does. Now, if we wanted to go up, now this is something you have to do if you're testing your helicopter. You got to turn your blades 90 degrees when you're doing your up and down. And now when you push forward on the stick, you're going to see that the blades tilt down. And they do. And if we pull back on the stick, the helicopter tilts back. So our rotor head is working correctly. It's always a good thing to check that. As far as the tail goes, you can't check it because it's direct drive. But I always check that little bit before I go fly. And I think we're ready. So without further ado, let's move this thing outside and let's go get a flight on this. Hey, so here we are out in the yard having some fun with the RotorScale. Now, like I said, we're gonna talk this through like this is your first helicopter. If you're a very advanced helicopter pilot, you already know what's going on here, but we're gonna go hold right now as we're plugged in. So the helicopter is turned off right now, other than it all functions, but it won't fly on us. I've got in idle down mode, which is actually called F mode flap on the top of this. And then over here on this top switch, I have it in 6G, which is gyro stabilized. So if you're set up all like that, you're ready to fly. I'm going to now flip that throttle hold switch, the hold T up here on the corner, and we are ready to fly. So I'm going to slowly start easing the throttle in. You're going to see the helicopter start to spin up. We're going to give it a second here. I'm just going to stand here for a second and let it get its motor speed up. We're almost up to about a quarter throttle, and now we're going to go up until the helicopter lifts off. Just like that. Now, helicopter is in the air, and we're going to use the sticks as far as if I push my right stick forward, the helicopter will tilt forward. If I pull it back towards me, the helicopter will come back towards us. Now, the left stick is what's going to make the helicopter yaw. So if I use the left stick right or left, you can see the helicopter spins on the yaw axis. Bring it back over here to us. And at first, go out in the yard. Don't try and fly this indoors. Go out in the yard where you have some open space to make some mistakes and just practice a little bit of hovering like this. Now, this helicopter is definitely more capable, but this is one that's going to grow with your skills. And I've just got it in that stabilized mode right now. And all I'm doing to make forward flight is adding a little bit of forward to the helicopter and using the rudder to turn it. It's that simple. A lot of fun. Guys that have ever flown a drone, a helicopter in this stabilized mode flies a lot like that. Now we do have our idle up position. If I click that, you can hear it right here. I'm going to flip it in. And you heard that motor instantly idle up. I'm still stabilized. I can flip in and out of stabilization if I want. The helicopter's motor is just running a lot higher RPM right now. Not really needed if we're flying it in beginner mode like this, but if you were to go start doing flips and things, you'll need it for that. Now, I'm not the best 3D pilot in the world by any means. But like I said, we have a video here on the channel of our buddy Richard just ripping this thing around. So I'm going to go back into idle down mode. And we can have us a good old time right out here. And you get a nice long flight time out of the helicopter too. Wonder if I'm brave enough. Let's see if we can go around this tree. Oh yeah. Very cool. All right, let's bring it down for a landing. Aim for a little spot of grass there without it. So I'm going to come down. I'm going to have my finger on the throttle hold switch. As I get the helicopter to touch down, I'm going to flip that switch and just leave my throttle setting where it's at. Just like that. And we're in idle, or in hold, and you can see my stick actually isn't at the down position, but the helicopter is coming to an rest. Now we can pull it all the way down. Let's go get a battery report back inside. So welcome back inside. Let's get this battery out. Like I said before, it's as easy as just sliding it out. It's only friction fitted in there, but it doesn't fall out. I got my battery checker right here. We're gonna plug that in now. And we are at 49% or 384 a cell, so just above storage right there. And that was just some very medium flying flight, I should say. Now, if you're gonna fly harder 3D, you wanna fly a little bit less time than we did. But if you're just getting started and you're trying to just run it around like we did, no problem flying this like 5 minutes. I would definitely say about 3 if you're gonna fly really hard 3D. There it is. If you're looking for a perfect beginner-friendly helicopter that can grow with your skills, or if you're looking for a wild 3D helicopter that works with your awesome 3D skills, here it is, the RotorScale F1, available here at Motion RC. We'll see you guys in the next episode.